What's going on? I'm Zero to Chaos.
And I'm Melting Data.
And welcome back to Culture Clash. This is episode 8. Hopefully everybody is doing good out there listening or watching on whichever platform that you choose to. If you saw the last episode, we gave Kendrick some flowers. We talked about a little bit of we went a little serious with the piracy. So if you haven't listened to episode 7, take some time, go to episode 7, check it out.
We came across a gem the other day, and we just couldn't pass it up.
At all. Before we crack this case wide open, we didn't do this last episode. How have you been doing, man?
Man, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but I'm doing pretty good. I wasn't ready for it. I just kind of blinked, and October just disappeared.
And then we're going to blink again, and it's going to be 2025, and wow. But speaking of wow, we're going to crack open this can of worms now. Unless you've been under a rock in the gaming community, we got our hands on the woke list. That's right. Let me go ahead and slide this over here. If you are
the only
the woke list. Now, if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, you will not see the girth and madness of this list. There is well over 1,500 games listed on this list by some guy, and he has crazy, but he has literally categorized and rated all of these games on their wokeness, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
The picks are wild to me. I mean, this man, it's pretty obvious some of the things that he does and does not like based off of this list.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
And some of the picks are wild as to where he put them in each category.
Now, disclaimer. The next couple minutes of this podcast does not reflect Culture Clash. Y'all should already know, if y'all are the local listeners that we always have, or dedicated listeners, you know who we are. At least by this point when it comes to the show. So there will be some trigger words said. Nothing I think too crazy, but there will be. We're just gonna go through what he said. We have a random number generator. We're gonna just click a couple random numbers, look it up, and we're gonna do it that way. Data, I am going to give you the power of the trailer, because if I do it, we're gonna watch trailers for everything that we look up. So any of these games that you feel we need to look at the trailer, we'll look it up. Now note, the only rule is if we cannot find the trailer on YouTube, I am not going any further. If the trailer is not on YouTube, we're not gonna. It's just not gonna be not safe for work stuff. We ain't gonna go into that.
What did this man think number 469 on that list was gonna be? I'm just looking at your screen right now. I'm trying to figure out what he thought he was about to play.
So let's go ahead and crack this up. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the random generator once. I'm gonna hit the random generator twice, and we are going to 8-11. All right, so we're going to come up here. 8-11. The first game that we are going to look at is The Confines of the Crown. I think that's, The Confines of the Crown. Came out in 2015 from Hanako Games. It is not recommended. And it's red. So that's already red flag, right? Contains overtly pro-LGBTQ messaging. Features a trans character. One possible ending includes polyamory, and one NPC encourages another to engage in homosexual romance. That is very descriptive. Spoilers at all? Just no.
Couple spoilers, apparently.
Couple spoilers. First, have you even heard of this game?
No, not at all.
haven't even heard of this game. I'm curious. Research, okay? Research. Because we were talking about this too while I'm looking this up. When does this person could have not played all these games?
I don't think it's possible. Either a lot of people are playing games and sending him information on the games, or this man spends time watching game reviews on YouTube. That's the only way I can think that you had the time to make a 1,500 game list.
1,500. If this counts to anyone that's interested, I actually found it. It's actually on Steam. It's going for like $15. It's a visual novel game. So I right there. If it counts though, it has a 9.0 out of 10 on Steam.
Apparently people like it.
This could be a banger.
It's not recommended on the woke list, but it is recommended on Steam. So I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna put that out there. It got a little flavor going, but who knows? 9.0, but that is so crazy, and it's the woke list. I will say only surprises me because of how detailed it goes, and for some of the games like that they said was okay.
Yeah, when it comes to like two of them that stuck out to me is that they said Borderlands and BioShock.
I'm gonna do Borderlands real quick. Right there. Yeah. So
they said the first one was okay. No woke content.
No woke content.
My boy, did we play the same Borderlands?
Clearly not. Clearly not. I mean, even the fact that they said Borderlands 2 was informational.
Yeah.
Like, what? What does that mean? Like, it's like, this is the stuff that I look at, and I'm like, I guess the main point of Borderlands is just straight shooting. There is some crude humor. There is some graphical things there. But I've played almost all of the main Borderlands games. I know for a fact there was a couple of some risque stuff in there.
Yep.
I know there was. So the fact that they thought this was okay is insane. Ew, it sucks that I looked up Borderlands. The first thing that comes up now is the movie. But I digress. Oh my gosh. Hold up. Just another random one. 87. Oh, we're going up to the top part of the list. Now note, people. We did not go through every single game. We glanced through it. But don't worry, we did not sit there and go, we're going to go through every single one. It's not an 87? Fine, I will scroll to 87. There we go. Hollow Knight. We all know Hollow Knight. Informational. Came out in 2017. Team Cherry. Contains subtle pro-LGBTQ plus messaging. The NPC Cloth is revealed to be a lesbian. Okay. An achievement called Happy Couple involves the nailsmith becoming a male model for the NPC Shio. Everybody that's listening and watching, did y'all know that?
I'm be honest, I never looked that hard into Hollow Knight to really.
Did we know that? Did we know that? Now I know Hollow Knight arguably is like one of the best roguelikes ever. Like, if you want a challenge, you play Hollow Knight. And I say that because Hollow Knight is sitting at a 10 out of 10 on Steam.
Yep.
So, I don't know. So far to me, it just looks like either you're nitpicking heavily, which we know they're nitpicking heavily. But, wow.
The first part of, like, at least half of, probably more than half, of the yellow and red ones contains something about the LGBTQ plus.
Yes.
Like, at least half, probably more.
And that's alone just like it's obvious the agenda that this person was trying to push.
Oh yeah.
Clearly. But
it doesn't get more obvious than that. Then Gary's Mod is on this list. It is not recommended.
Oh. Do you want to read that one? Do you want to read that one?
There's a couple words in that one, but yeah, we can.
Ah, okay, I see.
So
I see it. Okay, you ain't gotta read it. You ain't gotta read it. They can read it. It's right there. He said there's some words in there. You ain't gotta read that.
Don't know if we want to read that one.
You ain't gotta read that. You ain't gotta read that. I
But
have Gary's
stuff like that, where it's like, bro, you're mad because they banned that? Like, what? I thought that was a good thing.
I have Gary's Mod, and I've never ever even thought about that while playing Gary's Mod.
No.
Ever. And remember, the game came out in 2006. So they removed it in 2023. So it's been there for a hot minute.
Yep.
And I've never heard about that till this list came out. I have never heard about that. Just to be that guy. Pretty much all of the Dragon Ball games are not woke. When literally Piccolo is an alien that comes from a planet of all male aliens. Or male aliens.
Frieza's race is all male aliens.
Just putting it out there, y'all. Just putting it out there.
Like, y'all decide what y'all want, but it ain't making sense.
At all. Like, 512. 512. I can fail? I can fail? Is that what that says? Number 112? 512?
I think I can, yeah, that's how I'd pronounce it.
Came out in 2020. Happy Ray Games. Humble Games. Look at this. It's a paragraph. You know what the first part is. Like, the LGBTQ. Features a diverse cast, okay, of characters. Includes multiple characters that are non-binary. And use they, them pronouns. One of the NPCs uses Z and Zir pronouns. I have never heard of this game. And as you see, listeners, there's a lot of these games that we have no idea. And this came out in 2020. Yeah, I've never seen this game before.
Nope.
At all. It's on the Switch.
It's on the Switch?
Yeah. Yo, this game got a 9 out of 10 on Steam, bro. Yo. I'm starting to think the woke list is just hating on some possibly some good games.
Honestly, I can see that. Honestly. Like, there are some games on this list where I genuinely, I have no clue what he thought he was about to play.
At all.
Like, why would you think that someone, like, needs a review of that to know whether or not it's quote-unquote woke? Right? Because, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's a game just called Non-Binary on the list. Number 219. What did you think it was going to be about?
Oh, that was 219. Up one more pow. Yeah, non-binary.
Like,
2022.
Like, what did you genuinely think you were about to play?
That was triggering to them. And if y'all haven't realized, I want to see this on Steam.
Most of these, I think, are on Steam because it's a group on Steam. It's the woke content directors curated list. So it's a group on Steam that you can follow and see like their game recommendations for different stuff.
So, Steam, non-binary on Steam. 9 out of 10, and it's free. So, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. Everybody that is watching right now, please go to Steam and download Non-Binary and check it out for yourself. Be careful. Supposedly this game is crazy woke. So, you've been warned. I just want y'all to know I'm going to try it out. So we're going to see what happens. Not right now, because I ain't about to download it and something crashed. But this is crazy. And I'm going to go ahead and just say it, because I've mentioned this before on this show. When it comes to the woke agenda, period, culture-wide, we're hyper-focused on games right now. But these people who are saying that things are too woke, or you go woke, you get broke or whatever, go woke, go broke or something like that. You know, like all of these people who have taken that word, twisted it around, and made it a weapon. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. And I already know we're going to be getting a lot of negative comments on this episode. I'm ready. We have tough skin. But I think we both, Data, me and you both can agree that this is ridiculous.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, when it comes to a game, and maybe this is just me, you know, maybe it's a generational thing, and you know, you and I just didn't grow up thinking about this. But not once while I was playing a game was I ever like, oh, well, I got to worry about whether or not one of the characters is, you know, a certain way, or you know, I got to make sure that they allow certain things. Like,
Right.
Like that was never a thought to me. I remember back in the day, little old me in 2002, playing my brand new favorite game, Morrowind. I thought it was hilarious when you came across, doing the House Balu quests, you came across Cassius Curio, and I thought it was hilarious that if you were playing a female character, he hated you.
Right. Or we could even go to just keeping on Elder Scrolls. Fun story, even about that. I remember when Skyrim came out the first time, when it first came out. Went to a midnight release, and literally the checkout person at the GameStop was like, yo, who's playing, you know, Nord? Who's going to play Argonian? Who's going to play Redguard? And if you don't know, the Redguard's the black people in the game. So I'm the only person in the dang store that goes, yeah! And people were just like, do you play the Redguard? But it was never in like a, you play the black people? You know, we didn't think about it like that. You know, it's like, it's people like this person that goes out their way, this community, because this is a community that we don't like. These like fake woke people, they waste time making things like this so that people like us can critique them and go, you're stupid. And it kind of works, but we're using this more as a way to say like, this stuff has to stop.
Honestly, stuff like this where they put so much time into being like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't, you know, like this kind of stuff. You should like watch out for this. Like, that's not helpful. People are going to be different than us. They're going to like different things than us. And that's okay. Like, they should be allowed to like different things than us. And if you want to stay away from it, that's fine. You do you. You go do your thing. You ain't got to like it. But somebody else can.
Right. You know, and this is kind of stepping away from the gaming culture real quick, but going into like comics. You see it a lot in the comic world too, where people, they're really quick to judge and attack. You know, people want representation. And it is sad. You know, I'll keep it real. It is sad that it's 2024 and a lot of people feel like they're not being properly represented.
Yep.
I don't know how many of our listeners are on TikTok, but there is a lot of really good like comic book TikTokers. King Lion is one of them. Look him up. He's amazing. And I love it because he combats these people. And he's not afraid to do it. His channels have been attacked. They've been taken down, and he's fought right back. And lately, TikTok has started to kind of wise up and realize, like, no, he's being purposely attacked and deleted off of these social media platforms. You know, you may have seen it where they go like, oh, name a black character in comics that's not lightning, that doesn't have lightning, and they throw these stigmas out there, and he real quick goes, no, you're not paying attention, and he'll, instead of just attacking you, he will show you, like, here's DC, here's Marvel, here's Titan Image, like, here's all of these new characters, here's all of this. And that is the kind of thing that I feel needs to happen all over the culture when it comes to representation. Because, have you heard of an author called Tony Weaver?
I don't think I have, no.
Man, like, he actually, he published a book called, a graphic novel called Weirdo. And it's pretty much about his life, in a way, and I want to get this book because it looks really good. But on his social media, he's a heavy advocate in, you know, representation, teaching people, like, it's okay to be who you are. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Don't, you know, and I feel like the community needs people like him. Because it's so, you know, it's so easy to see things like this. And think about it. This is just an Excel spreadsheet. But look how far this has gotten.
Yeah.
And this is all...
The whole internet's seen it by this point.
Yeah. And remember, we got it. It's all free access. You know, you just find the link and you're there. And it does hurt. It does. And, you know, here on this podcast, you know, I feel like we keep it pretty transparent when it comes to our views and it comes to, like, what we believe in. And I can be pretty honest with y'all. You know, growing up, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s in gaming, representation did feel kind of not there.
100%.
And RPGs like Oblivion, Morrowind, you know, Mass Effect, you know, Knights of the Old Republic, like KOTOR and them, like, those were the games where when character creations started coming and we were like, yo, there's not many options for people like me. So I can just imagine, you know, the LGBTQ plus. I know they're going through that same thing with gaming now. And for someone like this person to sit here and stamp it like it's a problem is the problem.
Because realistically, like, not everyone has equal representation. Feel like you're losing representation when you start to see properly equal representation.
Right.
You know, we have a certain group of people that's been the primarily represented group in basically all of our media. Mm-hmm. And now that other people are getting a chance, you know, they're starting to get irritated because it feels like they're losing representation, but they're not. They're still there.
Just a little more options.
As a neurodivergent individual, won't get into this particular type of neurospices, but a TV character that I could resonate with for a long time that he's never officially stated to you know, be any type of way was Dr. House.
Okay.
Because, like, the way he thought, the way his mind would, like, solve puzzles and, like, all that kind of stuff, like, I can identify with that. I can understand that character and where that character's coming from. And then the shows that try to depict something like that, like The Good Doctor, I hate that show. They get it wrong completely. Like, that is not how those people act.
Right. But, of course, that's a lot of those type of sitcoms, too, though. and a lot of those shows, they really exist just to hyper analyze one thing.
Yeah.
That's why, like, The Big Bang Theory, a lot of people was like, this is an amazing show. This is amazing. And I'm like, no, it was actually very ignorant
Yeah.
in its portrayal. And that's why I tell people, it's like, if you like The Big Bang Theory, you should love The Community. Some people got it. Some people, okay, I get it. But, there's going to be some who go like, no, you're just overreacting. And that give and take happens a lot. To where it's like, and I know just for me, as a black male, like, we get that a lot. You're just overreacting. So I can imagine other people in their fight being told, you're just overreacting. When they have to go home after a long day's work, a long day at school, this is for kids too, they have to experience this thing every day, this neglect, this misplacement for some people, and then you can't even turn on your favorite video game. You can't put in your favorite movie or watch your favorite show without someone misrepresenting you.
Yep.
It sucks. It really sucks. And, that's why, like, comic books. Like, that's why I love comics. We've seen so much progression from, like, the 60s and 70s to the 90s, 2000s to now. Comics have evolved so well. And there's so much negative content out there trying to make it seem like, oh, comics are just horrible and they misrepresent everyone and boom, 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 boom. And it's not true. It's not. And that same thing with games. Like gaming, we use this woke list as a platform to bring up this topic. I guarantee you've seen this or you've heard of this before this podcast.
Almost definitely.
Right. So we're definitely sitting here like, hey, let's bring this up. Let's peel the Band-Aid off of this issue, at least on this side of the fence. We don't want to spend the whole podcast on this, but I would say, what will be your last take on the woke list, Data?
Yeah, it's easy for us kind of from the outside perspective to look at this, point at it and be like, oh, haha, it's funny, because it's absurd to a pretty clear degree. It is absurd.
Yes.
That someone spent this much time to make that list. But at the same time, you have to understand that there's an entire group of people that this is incredibly important to them. To make these lists, to make sure that people are warned off from, doing certain stuff, playing certain games, watching certain shows, listening to certain music because of, a certain perception that, might be given off from it. And it's like, if you're willing to put this much time into something, especially with, the primary thing that he harps on, it's like, there's a whole community you're putting off that they don't feel wanted, they don't feel loved, they feel quite the opposite, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that doesn't help anybody.
At all. But for everyone that's out here, I just ask, if you listen to this podcast, if you support this podcast positively, I know there's some people out there that love to hate, and y'all listening to us with negative intent, but the positive ones out there, be that beacon of light for someone. If you see someone is struggling with who they are, try to be that person. Just listen. I always say that to people. Some people, you may not agree, but at least understand where they're coming from. That takes that takes a lot of the issues away, I feel. Just be there for someone. Just listen. All right.
I couldn't have said that better, man.
Thanks, brother. But I'm not gonna lie. Let's get this woke list off the screen. Goodbye, woke list. Okay. So we're gonna transition over. I don't know how you transition off with the woke list. That was just like, we'll go to something a little bit more light, more happier. Actually, no, I got one for you. I actually have one. I put it on the list. I want to get your opinion on one thing. Okay.
Bet.
And I want to show you something. Okay. So it is the end. We're coming to the end of 2024. So for all gamers out there, we do have the Video Game Awards that happens yearly. Okay. So they have recently said the nominees for Game of the Year. I was going to do all of the games, like all the categories. If we want to do that, we can. But I wanted to bring up Game of the Year. Okay? So, I'm going to read it first. And then I'm going to tell you the question I have for you. And I want to get your 2 cents on it, okay?
Okay.
So, this year, Game of the Year, we have Astrobot, Balatro. That's a card game. That roguelike card game that came out. We have Black Myth Wukong.
Okay.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And Metaphor Refantanzo. That was the new Atlas game that came out this year. Okay?
Yeah.
So, first, after seeing that list, if I was to tell you there has been an uproar on this list, would you be surprised?
Not at all. None of those... Honestly, none of those look like they should be on that list.
Okay. Now,
If it were me.
right, trust me, the only thing that perked my attention was Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Okay? Elden Ring itself won Game of the Year last year. This is the DLC that came out this year. This is the first DLC to be nominated for Game of the Year. And the award show came out with a statement stating that they will accept DLCs in this category. And people got pissed, saying that it took a spot from another game that could have possibly made the list. This is a DLC, it's not a full game. And the uproar just kept coming. So my question to you is, do you agree or disagree with DLCs, remakes? Should those be able to win Game of the Year?
DLCs, definitely not. If you want to do DLCs, like, you can make a new category. There's enough DLCs, it could be its own category.
Okay.
Remakes, it really depends. Because, like, if you're doing a remake that's like the Halo Anniversary, when they remade the first game with just like the updated graphics, absolutely not. That should not even be anywhere close to a nomination. Because that's the exact same game, just pretty.
Okay.
But if it's something like the Resident Evil remakes, where it is a genuinely different game, new mechanics, new graphics, new maps, everything, then like, yeah, I could see that where it's like, okay, they put in the work to build something like actually new. Like, yeah, I can see it.
And I kind of agree. I do feel like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree should have its own. It should be under the category of like best DLC of the year. One thing that I will say, now I have not been able to buy it yet. It sucks, but of course I've seen the gameplay this whole year. This DLC, from the content it gave us, from the story that added on to the actual game, crazy. This thing did more than a lot of new games couldn't even do. And that's a DLC. Yeah. So I feel like what happened is that they're saying that this DLC raised the bar for what's acceptable for Game of the Year. And a lot of people who were complaining said Final Fantasy VII Rebirth shouldn't be on there because it's a remake. And I agree with you on that one. If the remake completely changes the game, it's a completely different mechanic. Like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is not even a turn-based RPG anymore. A lot of these people lost their mind. Some people, crazy people, got mad because like Sparking Zero wasn't on Game of the Year. We knew that wasn't going to happen. But the big red flag was the DLCs. A lot of people didn't like the Balatro game. They felt like that was just a card game, a roguelike card game. People dismissed it, and I was like, that's kind of disrespectful. Yeah. You know, it's like this game is up here for a reason, and because you didn't play it or didn't see someone play it, you shouldn't be that negative against it. It really had me kind of like thinking, and I was like, man, you know, I never thought that I would see a day that not only a DLC outperforms a lot of the games that came out, that the community would be so torn.
The reason it bothers me that a lot of those games are out there, a couple of them I can get, like Black Myth Wukong. They did make something genuinely good. But I don't know if I would consider that Game of the Year, but like it was genuinely good. But when I look through this list, because I have seen it, I have kind of browsed through this independently, it really bothers me that you have the same games on so much of the list. And I understand a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but if it's a good game, it could be in multiple different things. But like... not that many times. Some of these, like, I can't help but be that guy. It looks like a plant after a while.
Okay. Yep.
Just the same game in so many different categories. Like,
I mean, we can go through it.
You see the same, like, 3 names through almost every single category.
Oh, yeah. And remember, too, a couple episodes of the podcast ago, I brought up how like a lot of these companies are now merging, how a lot of these companies are getting rid of their smaller individuals. I feel like this is also a byproduct of that. So now all we have are like the big companies, and they're going, like you said, they're going to use this award ceremony platform to push their agenda. I do agree with that. Like, they have a category called Best Ongoing Game, right? So you have, like, Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. Now, I don't want to assume, but I pretty much know that when they say Best Ongoing Game, it's your MMOs, but they didn't want to say, like, Best MMO Game and, lock out a lot of these other games. Personally, I really think like Final Fantasy 14 will win. If we're going off of just pure hype, Helldivers may take it because Helldivers was huge this year. I feel like because we've had the video game awards for years now, in some form, and I get it. I do get it where we're seeing a lot of the same type of games coming out. And I'm really curious, too, with the negativity in the gaming space. Because I feel like a lot of these games that don't get nominated, they got trashed on. And they're actually pretty good.
Yep.
And
that happens a ton in gaming. Like, I even remember this a bit back in the day where like games would be trashed before they came out, and like you would hear a bunch of kids talking to each other back and forth where they're like, oh, that game's gonna suck, and it's like, bro, it literally hasn't been sold yet.
Right. That was like right. Mama, no, remember they go, that game's trash. Have you played it? And you got that one liar. Yeah, my cousin works for Activision. He sent me the demo. Okay, so you lying. You're lying. There you go. You're lying. So, no, I totally agree, man. Like, it's like I want to be excited for these award ceremonies. Like, I want to be excited because, like, this is when you see new games that are coming out maybe at the beginning of next year. We lost E3. You know, so it's like all we have is really stuff like this. But then you just see how the community is like, yeah, this ain't gonna happen because we're just gonna push our agenda. And the best way to say about the agenda, the category of most anticipated. So that's literally Death Stranding 2 on the beach, Ghost of Yotai, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
GTA is going to take it. We know that. I'm going to go ahead and just say it. GTA is going to take it. But it really sucks because I really think that a lot of these people out here really think that the one or two games that they play faithfully is worth it. And that's their opinion. You know, I'm not saying they're dumb or stupid. Like, that'd be ignorant. You know, no. Like, if all you play is Black Ops 6 and you say Black Ops 6 Game of the Year, okay, cool. But you haven't even touched the other, like, 95% of the games that came out this year.
Yeah.
You know, we have the same issue with people going like, oh, well, you can't talk about games and you can't give your opinion on them because you ain't played all of them. I'm like, okay, that's a valid argument. You gonna give me that money so I can play it? I would love it. Cause
Yep.
I mean, there are gaming YouTubers that I follow. That's their job. They made their job. They micromanage their time and they go, hey, the new game's coming out. I'll play it for a couple days. If it's popping, we'll keep playing it. If not, I'm throwing it away. And personally, I don't want to become that person.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I mean, there's games that I love that, like, review-wise, have gone on to be trashed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of my all-time favorite games is Donkey Kong 64. And the internet hates that game.
Which is so sad.
Like, and that is one of my favorite games. Like, it's such a good game. And the internet hates it so much.
And it's funny you say that, too. I think it's the 25th anniversary of Donkey Kong 64. If I'm not mistaken, I think it is. And you're right. You're right. The game gets so much trash. And I personally believe it's because it was so different. It took Donkey Kong into a different generation, a different style. And I think people weren't ready for it.
And don't get me wrong, like there's definitely mistakes that were made, you know, when they were making the game. But nothing that couldn't have been fixed in a second one. But because it was so trashed, we have gone decades and we still don't have a second 3D Donkey Kong.
Right. We barely got a 2D.
Yeah. It took us a long time to get more 2D Donkey Kong. Because, like, which Nintendo, like, y'all really have to stop doing this. You have so many good franchises.
Yes.
Stop just letting them sit there with
Now,
nothing going on.
I will, this may never happen all the time, I will give Nintendo a pass for Donkey Kong. Because technically Rare does own Donkey Kong. So if Microsoft don't want to give up that half.
Well, they own the older games that they made, but Nintendo owns the character.
Okay, so technically, yes, they can still make a Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
In some form. Because it's like...
The old, like, Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Land series, those belong to Rare. Like, those are their games. But Donkey Kong as a character and as a concept, like, that's Nintendo's. They can do whatever they want with it.
I tried to save you, Nintendo. I tried, man. Get your act together, man. Just give us Donkey Kong, bro.
They're sitting on so many good series that they just haven't done anything with for decades.
Star Fox, nothing. F-Zero, nothing. Like, let's just pull down the Super Smash Brothers catalog of characters that all have been featured. I think over 70% of the roster hasn't even got a new game
Yep.
in some form. They haven't got one.
Yep.
And I'm not including remasters or remakes. No, a new game.
It took us John Cena asking a Nintendo of America employee directly, like, hey, I want a new 2D Metroid. When is that going to happen? For Nintendo to even like throw that up the chain, like, hey, maybe this massively successful franchise we've had in the past, we should make a new one. Like, why does John Cena have to ask for the game before we get it?
Because it's John Cena, sadly. Now we just need The Rock to make his voice heard. Don't do that, please, because he's gonna want to be he wants to be every character at that point. We don't need that smoke.
You ain't lying.
No, but you're right though, man. It's
the
like
main character's gonna have the cutscene. He's gonna make the Rock face, and then he's gonna win.
You know what? We're just gonna rag Nintendo for the last couple minutes here. It really does bother me that Zelda's timeless, forever. There will always be a Zelda game in some form, I believe.
Oh yeah.
There will always be a Mario game. Always. They literally made a Toad game, a Princess Peach game, solo games, a Princess Zelda solo game, before a true Donkey Kong game.
Yep.
F-Zero. We haven't had an F-Zero in decades. In a decade. Easily. And you have Mario Kart, and you don't even put him in Mario Kart. Captain Falcon's not even in Mario Kart, but you put Zelda in Mario Kart.
They haven't even really made a new Mario Kart game.
No, they haven't.
The Wii U.
They just
But
pretty much been, yeah.
Mario Kart 8 was a Wii U title that they ported to the Switch. They just been riding it.
And they just brought back Mario Party with Jamboree came out.
Yep.
So they just did that. Oh wait, actually, hold up. Flag on the play. You know what needs to come back? I'm gonna stand on this hill till it comes back. 2 games. Kirby freaking Air Ride.
Yes.
And Diddy Kong Racing. Okay?
Kirby in general, honestly.
Because Kirby did get that new game. Not this year. I think it was like 2 years ago. They did make a Kirby game. And they tried that Yarn Kirby thing, which was weird. A while, way back.
Those were pretty good on the DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kirby Air Ride was the bee's knees, man. We played the mess out that game. Kirby, look, okay, Nintendo, we've been bashing you a lot. I'm about to give you some free money right now. Kirby Air Ride BR. Battle Royale Kirby Mother Lovin' Air Ride. 100 Kirbys battling it out. Have you played Kirby Air Ride?
I don't think I have, honestly.
Yo, okay. Long story short, Kirby Air Ride was low-key a BR game before BR games came out. Literally, you each picked a Kirby, or like Meta Knight, or whoever you want. You literally start with the basic star, and they drop you into the city world. Like a city world space, right? For like 15 minutes, you're just doing objectives, collecting like speed-ups, turn-ups, power-ups, attack-ups. You can attack other players to knock out their powers. They have like different stars that you can jump off of and jump onto. So for 15 minutes, you're building your custom build. And then you play a minigame based off of the stats that you collected throughout the 15 minutes. It was such a, like, it looked crazy. But then once you played it, you're like, yo, this is instant fun. We would play that all night. And they just never made another one. And then, oh wait, speaking of that, give me a real Super Monkey Ball. A real Super Monkey Ball. And it is 2024. Why can't we not make our own stages for Super Monkey Ball?
Right.
We have Mario Maker.
why don't we have? Honestly, there's a lot of stuff. Like, why don't we have a proper Zelda maker yet?
Yo!
You know how fun it would be to
Yes!
build our own dungeons and share it with each other?
Yes!
Like,
I'm telling you, look. I understand. Look, Culture Clash does not have a problem with Nintendo. We only rag them this hard because we love them so well. We love them so much. Okay? It's never this is not coming from a place of pure hatred. It's coming from a place of love. We grew up on Nintendo. We just want to see it. We want to see it strive and not just be like, well, we're here. You know, we have a Switch 2 coming out. I want to get it. But if I had to be honest with y'all, why would I get it?
yeah.
What games we have really coming out for it? Like nothing. They just keep teasing us and teasing us and teasing us. And we just keep throwing money. I don't want another Pokemon game. You sued Power World for no reason. And if y'all didn't realize it, the lawsuit on Power World was all new copyrighted stuff that they put in after the game was created.
Yeah.
So that's just low hanging fruit. Come on.
Kind of scummy, honestly.
Come on. Instead of them instead of them growing the community and going to this small company and going, hey, we like how you did this. Let's join forces. You know, keep Power World because y'all made this. But can we incorporate Pokemon into this Power World game? You know they would have said yes. You know they would have said yes.
Oh yeah.
And it would have been so easy. Do you know how fire that would have been? If they said, in the Power World game, you're playing with your character, building your stuff, catching your little pals, and then a Pokeball, the Pokemon Gold little airdrop thing comes down, you touch it and a Pokeball appears, and they say, oh, we're making the Johto region island in Power World?
Yup.
And it's not, and people will go well, that's crazy. It's not.
It's really not that crazy.
It's not crazy. People mod every day. If they can make...
It would work so well, honestly,
so well.
Because if we're being honest with ourselves, Nintendo could make a lot of these deals with companies, and they could basically just print money. They would do so well with it. But Nintendo is so paranoid about oh, well, what if it makes our IP look bad because somebody else is doing whatever with it? And it's bro, take some chances.
Or just get rid of them.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, it's okay if you would give Kirby to some other company to make an independent Kirby game. Okay, maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be, but you may have got something new from it.
Yeah.
Look at Metroid Other M. And if that's their main excuse why they don't offshoot other characters, other companies, okay, fine. Maybe they didn't do the direction you wanted. But look at well, I don't think they own Castlevania anymore.
I think that's Konami.
Yeah, Konami has that. But it's but look at those other companies. Other companies don't want to work with you outside of Smash Bros. And we praise you for that one game, but it's the older generation knows what you can do because we've seen it.
Yeah, Nintendo was on top, undisputed champion for a long time.
For forever, all through the 90s. Literally, I would say Nintendo didn't start wobbling. I would say once the PS2 and the 360 came out.
Yeah,
that was it. They had no answer for that PS2 and 360.
Yep. And
then they just kind of they fumbled a little bit and they picked it up and they just never progressed after that. They kind of just eased over and did what they could do. And it sucks Because even with the Switch, when they pulled the Switch and was like, oh, well, we have a system that can be ported on the go. I was like, oh, Nintendo back, baby. Nintendo doing it again. And we're now at 2024. We barely got anything for it.
Yep.
And look, and now look at your neighbor in Steam and Valve. Look at your neighbor. Oh, we have the Steam Deck. Hey, Nintendo. Thanks for the idea. We made the Steam Deck. We can run AAA games on ours. Yep. And the community is willing to pay for it. Because that's Nintendo's big thing, too. Nintendo plays this game of like, well, we make our systems lowballed so people can afford them. But then nobody can buy your games.
Yup.
Let me stop. Can we talk about that last episode? Let me stop. It's so easy to get mad at them sometimes.
It really is. But like, there's an easy formula to make your next console incredibly successful. Release games from franchises that have been just sleeping for years.
Yes.
There's going to be a whole generation that's never heard of these. They're going to be like, oh, what's an Earthbound? Let me tell you, kids.
Man.
Like, whole generations have not heard of these franchises that are amazing franchises.
Yes.
Like, Nintendo did really well with it.
Yes.
And then just decided, we're going to make 3 games in the Mother series, and then never again. The Game Boy Advance is all you get.
Right.
Like, and it's like, bro, we've gone so long since then. Like, you could drop Mother 4 and people would play it
Easily.
They would
Easily.
Like, there's so many things that you could do just by bringing back old franchises. People would be introduced to something brand new. They'll fall in love with it. Like, people who have been there for a while are going to love seeing their old franchise come back.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's right there, man. We're just two very passionate gamers. And I know we have no real, like, pull in the industry. But, man, you're not lying. Data...
If I did, though. If I did.
Data be spitting facts right now, y'all. Like, everything he just said, I agree, man. Like, Nintendo has... They have to do something. Because, let's just keep it a buck. The Switch 2 is not going to... The Switch 2 is going to underperform.
Yes.
I believe it. I believe it until I see it. I believe it's going to underperform, and people are going to buy it just because it's Nintendo. And then 2 years down the road, they're going to realize, man, we just dropped all this money for what?
I honestly think they're going to make the same mistake that they did with the Wii and the Wii U.
Okay.
Where they hit it out of the park with the Wii.
Yes.
Selling like 120 million or something like that Wii's worldwide. You know, everybody had, you know, Wii Sports. Everybody had, you know, like the basic games. And then when it came to the Wii U, they're like, we have no clue how we did so well with the Wii, so we're going to just try to do exactly that again.
Yep.
And it didn't work.
Did not work.
It bombed. They went from 120, I think it was, million Wii's sold to less than 15 million Wii U's.
Yep.
And it's because they have no clue why they did so well. They don't understand how the Wii was successful. And I think the same thing's about to happen with the Switch to the Switch 2. I don't think Nintendo understands why the Switch is successful.
Right.
Or why, at least why it has
why
been
it works
successful.
And, or, I can do one better for you. Because you're not wrong. But I think it's going to be the other way around. I think, because with the Wii to the Wii U, I do agree that they just didn't understand how the Wii, they perfected it with the Wii. And when they tried to make the Wii U, they couldn't strike it twice. I think with the Switch to the Switch 2, it's going to be almost reverse. They were ahead of the game with the Switch. That's why it worked. No one was in that stratosphere with them. They left the home console and made it portable. That was game changing. And then now why the Switch 2 is going to fail is because now you have competition. And they already have told us they're not going to compete. So the world's different now. Don't get it twisted. Your true blue Nintendo fans are us now. We're the adults. So they know that we're going to get money. People are going to buy it. The kids of old are now the old people. Are now the old of old. So we are going to buy it. You're losing the new children.
Yes.
So what happens when we become the old farts?
It's just gonna die.
Right. You're gonna end up looking and going, what happened? I'm not saying that you have to just belly up, but it's like you have to open your eyes and realize like what we literally just accomplished with the Switch. These other companies are recognizing that now. Even with like the DS. Going from the one screen with the Game Boy Advance and the SP to the DS with the two screens. No one could touch that.
Yeah.
No one.
It's the only, to this day, it's the only console that tried anything like that.
And it worked. It was dope. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, here comes the Switch. Because even Microsoft, I'll be real, Microsoft don't want to make Xboxes.
No.
That's why they're pushing and buying up all the companies. Microsoft said, look, if Sony wants to be the big bad when it comes to systems, so be it. Microsoft, because there's rumors Microsoft is trying to make a handheld.
Yeah.
Or a portable system.
Yeah.
But why? But my question is, why would you even do that? When Game Pass can be put on laptops and PCs.
Yep.
People like let's keep it a buck. We're way over an hour, but let's keep it a buck real quick. Gaming has changed, and a lot of people, these Xbox fanboys, these PlayStation fanboys, and these Nintendo fanboys, it needs to stop, because the reality is Sony has capitalized on the systems. Yeah. Microsoft has capitalized on the companies, the gaming companies, and Nintendo has capitalized on nostalgia.
Yeah.
The real The real question is, which one's going to run out first?
Oh, nostalgia, easily.
Easily.
Because once the people who were nostalgic for your product are aged out, it is what it is. Like, it's game over.
It is what it is. Nintendo is not growing up with the community that built them.
Because the issue with, and I know it's commonplace nowadays, the issue with marketing to nostalgia is that you're not building new nostalgia for a new generation that's going to love your games down the road.
Right.
You're just trying to constantly pander to the same audience over and over again. And it's like eventually, like, that audience is finite. They're going to be gone someday.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the ones buying your stuff.
And
you've got to build a new audience.
And remember what you said before last episode, your game preservation's trash.
Yes.
So how are we supposed to show our children the old games that we grew up on if we can't even get them?
Your boys gonna be waving that skull and crossbones flag.
Right.
I'm gonna get you games. One way or another.
One way or another, boy. You know, look, watch episode 7, man. We always reference other episodes, but it's so true, man. It's like I never thought video games would get to this point. I never did growing up. And then I would say maybe like in in 2010, 2015ish, around that era. I'll say in the 2010s is when my brain was like, yo, I need to really start paying attention to where the wave is going.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be left out in the cold looking stupid. I love gaming. I will never stop loving gaming. Let's get that out there. I'm gonna be playing games till I'm old and crusty. And I ain't stupid though. You know, I got bills. I got responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, That's why I built my PC. That's why I got my Game Pass. And you know, I would love to have a PS5, but reality is, it's going to be a waste of an investment at this point.
Yeah.
I have a Switch. I bought a Switch. I have all of the Nintendo systems except for the Wii U. I support Nintendo faithfully. And
I love my Wii U, man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate to say it, man, but it's like, Nintendo, y'all have not been supporting us. Every true Nintendo fan, we love them. We support y'all. We will never pull that life support on Nintendo. But man, them dudes ain't. It's just me personally. I feel like Nintendo has not done right by us in the last like 5 years. Easily. Even possibly, if I think about it, possibly longer than that. They have not done right by their consumer.
If Nintendo was paying attention to what consumers want, let's be honest, there's a few things we would have had by now that we don't have.
Facts.
Consumers have been telling you, you released Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. They've been telling you to port it to the Switch for 7 years now. You still haven't ported it to the Switch.
Nothing.
They've been telling you that Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D looked gorgeous on the 3DS. They've been telling you to port that in HD to the Switch, and we still don't have it. Like, that's just the Zelda franchise. They've been telling you they want the Metroid Primes brought to Switch. They want 2 and 3 brought to Switch the same way Metroid Prime 1 was brought to Switch. That still hasn't happened. Like, they're telling you what they want. They want to see these things. We haven't had a new Donkey Kong game since Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. They've been telling you for a while, like, yeah, you ported Tropical Freeze to the Switch, but we want an actual new Donkey Kong game. We haven't had one in, like,
forever.
Eight years or something like that now. Like, we're tired of, like, not being listened to, quite frankly.
Yep.
Like, if you would listen to your consumers, and again, to be fair, I don't live in Japan. I don't know what they are asking for. It's possible that they're listening to their Japanese customer base perfectly. But
awesome.
Nintendo, please understand this. Japan is not the majority of your market. Not anymore.
Mm-mm.
Europe and North America combined are a bigger market than Japan. Like, that's just a fact of the matter. Europe and North America pay more to Nintendo than Japan does.
Mm-hmm.
They are bigger markets. They spend more money. That's who you need to be listening to. Listen to your international markets. You know, listen to South America. When it comes to, like, Japanese influence, no one loves that more than South America.
No one.
Like, listen to these markets. Do the things they want. You will make money. You will never have to wonder where your next dollar is coming from for your company. Like, it'll just be there.
And we all can just be at peace, man. That's what I really want. I want the gaming culture to be at peace again, bro. Even if it's just for a moment. It's been nasty, man. We've been going through a lot. Because, like I said, when the Switch 2 comes out, I'm going to be looking at it. I'm going to be like, man, I want that. You know? But it's like, if I buy that, I'm wasting my money.
Yeah.
And it's no longer me buying it off of the trust for the company anymore. And that's what hurts me.
That's why we watched a lot of companies like Capcom and Square Enix and stuff like that drop Nintendo around the time of the Nintendo 64 and PS1, because they're like, oh, well, I can go do more on the PlayStation than I can over here.
Yep. Let's wrap this one up. Because we went over time, but you know what? We did it for you guys. Data, you want to do the closing statement?
Y'all, we appreciate y'all coming to listen to us today. This has been Culture Clash. You can find us in all the usual places: YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Amazon Podcast. We also have presence between both of us in other social media places as well. Twitter. I think we're coming to Blue Sky soon. Feels like everybody's going to Blue Sky now.
Yeah, true.
But check us out. We're more than happy to talk to y'all on all these different social media platforms.
If there's nothing else to really say, so I will say I'm Zero to Chaos.
And I'm Melting Data.
And until next time, guys, y'all be safe out there. Do not be afraid to express yourself and to express the things that you love. And we will catch y'all next time. This has been Culture Clash. Catch y'all later.